In order, please. If we can, I'll time this 4:30 by Mr. Standards. Let's do Lisa the flag.
Hand over heart. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioners are present. Since we have somebody in this, I will read this, so please with me.
I think you can.
I can waive that.
She'll be
Okay.
talking during.
Well, I was going to read the.
We don't.
Okay. The way everybody's comments, actually, young lady and anybody. We're going to move to Commissioner. Spindle.
I don't have any, just wishing happy New Year.
Did it?
So I hope all is well. Things are good. CSEA report.
That's me.
That's you.
That's me. So we are in our new year with 2 e-board members, a new sergeant at arms, Letitia Ortiz, and we have a new secretary, Brianna Simonitis.
Congratulations. I didn't want to make
I will be continuing as president for 2 more years. We have our negotiations team is the same. So the same incumbents were reelected for another year. Their terms are 1 year. So we will be moving forward with budget for this year, officer skills trainings, the usual beginning of the year items. Hope everybody had a wonderful winter break. We are looking at filling some classifieds, some new positions for a job description that I think it's on the agenda tonight, right?
Actually, the eligibility list.
The eligibility list is on the agenda tonight, so finally getting that job description that was brought out, 3-4 years ago in place.
Probably
So,
more than that.
5 years ago, there you
A lot
go.
more than that.
So, wanting to get those into
I even
place.
remember it. Yeah.
So, yeah, just getting things going for the new year. So that's it. That's all I got tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. Just to update the board, we're also working on updating the contract.
Oh, yes.
We found we had to go back and do some edits that
Yes.
we found, so it'll be published soon, and I'm sure that we're looking forward to having the members have that in their hands, and
Yes.
the administrators in the district, so that we can follow the contract with all the updated language, and that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr.
So we just, currently we have 362 classified employees, and I don't have the breakdown because I totally forgot to pull that today. We have 6 recruitments open right now, and then 6 recruitments in the testing phase. Hope everyone had a long winter break. And I hope everyone is looking forward to a 3-day weekend coming up, because it's a 3-day
Oh, I
weekend
forgot
already.
about that.
It is, yes, I know. And
I wish
we're
I was
already,
retired to work for somebody, and then I'd get the day off.
we're already looking ahead, looking to summer school. We were at a summer school planning meeting today. So things just keep progressing on. Time takes, doesn't stop for anything. Just a reminder for the commissioners, I will be out of town the end of this month. I will be in San Antonio from the 23rd to the 29th of this month. And that's my report.
Have a safe trip and hopefully a good one. I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Anybody got anything they'd like to pull or talk about? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything for discussion, Ms. Stool?
No.
We're gonna go to the consent list. It is recommended, the Personnel Commission consider approving a number of agenda items. This is to ratify the eligibility list for campus security assistant. All in favor, or entertain a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's your eligibility list. We're gonna go on to the reclassification appeal request and desk audit of people services technician. Ms. Stool, can you start this one and then we'll open it up for conversation?
Very similar to last month when we looked at the other reclass appeal. This came in at the same time. They were all seen by the committee at the time. Ms. Lynn was denied her reclass by the committee, and she appealed to the commission. I did a job audit. I went out and I observed her pupil services on 3 different occasions,
Twice.
twice.
Yeah.
Talked to her supervisor, talked to the director of pupil services. That desk, that job, that classification has definitely evolved over the last 2 to 3 years, and I say that because the actual initial request was put in over a year ago.
September of 22.
Yep.
Hold on, man, let her do her
sorry.
thing and then I'll let you talk.
Okay, so over a year ago, the request was put in, based upon the timeline listed for the committee and in their contract. And there definitely has been 2 years of a gradual accretion based upon changes in the programs that are used over there in pupil services, especially for the IEPs. So reclassification, which just could develop and give it to both the union to negotiate the description and then go from there. That's my recommendation.
I'll entertain a motion for purposes.
Yeah, motion that we approve the classification,
Yes.
reclass.
Second.
Anything that you would like to say on this matter, this is your time to tell the gospel.
Well, I did submit all the information in September 22. I got a denial letter certified in June saying that had, so that's why I appealed it, because it definitely, I felt like they hadn't even read what I had submitted. And as, that kind of stuff. So Patty came over and did observe everything, asked me a lot of questions, talked to everybody. It is a very challenging position. Like she said, it's evolved into things. We have the new program, computer program, which has been a challenge. It's replacing what IP, but right now I'm working in both. Computer programs to try to get the transition between the two to go. There's a lot of cleanup to do as well. The amount of time that it takes to do the reporting, everything that has to be done in that, is very time consuming. Ads, we do a sort of, 3 a year. The December 15th day came and went. They did extend it out till January 6th to recertify to October the 4th. Then it'll come again in January and then again at the end of the summer. So it's, yeah.
You're okay, you got all the time in the world that you can, anything that you want about your.
Okay, so appreciate the time that you guys and to take a second look at it to see where it's at.
Anything from the.
So I have questions for Director. So like you said, that this appeal started over a year ago. So does your
She submitted last summer that they got applications in, I believe they're in May, but I believe some of them received them in. And then, so then they sent the appeals in, which you should still be of the August packet.
Yeah.
The results of the reclass and stuff. And so then took them to the audit, appealed to the audit.
so audit based on the date they appeal or their current duties as you did the audit?
Well, it's based on their original application and then had them update it because they've been.
Progress.
It still has progressed, so now we're looking at years now.
Yeah, all right. So based on the current duty she's doing, not when he appealed originally back in
Well,
20.
she appealed in 22,
Right.
and that was 2 years at that point, years of gradual accretion. At this point, well over 2.
So 2 years since she appealed, and additional duties than what she.
It's an ever evolving job.
Mhm.
What I'll be looking at is these special education student data type classification. Other districts have similar.
That doesn't.
You and I just got through her telling you, assumption that changed and progressed logically, which advanced the position. When this young lady spoke about it, she said there's more time involved in doing the job. Is this a time thing, or is this
Well, when they were using
a bigger thing?
we were using in transition to CSIS,
Say,
okay, for 2.5 years. Oh,
yes.
that's, I have friends that work county with that, and they were hoping it would meet at this point. It's been a transition, and like she said, it benchmarked recently that they were hoping to transition everything over from web, a constant, oh, we're gonna try this and do that.
Because what,
Kurt, like I ran a report today, and right now we have over 1,100 special ed kids.
hold on one second. You and I had not a lengthy discussion, but a discussion. As things have progressed, what I used to do in a job 20 years ago, technology has changed that, and in some cases made the job easier, but you have to be more technologically advanced in order to use the ease of the new applications. Meaning I could put a guy in a ditch with a shovel and you have a set thing, and this was the analogy I used, or I could put a guy now in a mini backhoe, but he has to be qualified and licensed in order to operate a piece of heavy equipment. Therefore, and this is only for example, it's nothing meant, a $10 ditch digger is different than a $20 equipment operator.
Correct.
Okay, so if this job is the input of data from one system to another, or is this new system
But it's also,
more advanced?
yes,
Yes or no?
yes, it's more advanced. It's also more liaisoning with the different requirements for the reporting to the state and trying to work out the bugs between the county and the state, correct?
Yes.
Is
Well, and I understand working out the bugs and stuff, that's time consuming, it's not necessarily,
but you still have to know the new system separate from the old system. You're
you're learning a new system, but a new system is still a new system as compared to an old. So I learned,
But they're using both systems right now.
understood, but does that, and again, I'm just trying to get a clear picture here. You know, I use one system because it's easier for me. My accountant tells me I need to learn this system because that's what they used, it's more advanced. In her words, it'll be so much easier once you learn how to do this. And I'm kind of like, okay, I'm an old dog and I don't want to learn the new system. You put it all in there. They're both systems, one's just more advanced, I'm just not smart
It's the
enough to get
knowledge
it.
base, the required knowledge base that's needed.
Is more so, so you have to be a better ditch digger.
Yes.
And this system is more compatible, it's used with more districts within the state of California than our other system was very limited to Desert Mountain, Zelpa, the upper desert, Needles, a few other places, where this one is more, it's more advanced. Like I can tell you, like today I had a student that we had no information on. It caused an error in CalPads. So it was a student we didn't even know was special ed. The error, when I was working in CalPads, it showed the error, so then I was able to go back to the previous school, request the records came over electronically. Even though they're old records, they're records of IEPs that were done previously in the previous school districts that will help our teachers and our special ed kids.
So the new program made it more efficient, but it took a little bit of a minute in order to get
Yes.
that information to make it more
And
efficient.
it's still taking a minute.
Yeah, and,
You're okay. You have all the time in the world. Someone else like
It's,
that?
it's very, the web IUP, there were certain things that you had to plug in to it, right? To create in there for a student, say a student transferring in or what have you. Now you're doing that as well as you're creating records, you're downloading documents, there's just a whole variety pack of things that it requires that is going to be more efficient later, but right now it
sounds very time consuming.
is
So we're
very time
talking-
consuming, but I had a full schedule,
And now you have an even more.
and now I have all these timelines that, like, when I'm working in Cowpens, I'm not doing anything else.
I think I have a very
Yeah.
clear picture here, but,
I have a question for her.
oh, yes, ma'am.
Who else does what you do?
Nobody.
Thank you.
So the 1,100 kids are mine, yeah.
Gotcha. I'm hearing it's a time thing, and I'm looking at Mr. Gutierrez, who I've worked with in the past, of
So,
why does the district have more Miss Linds?
so,
And I don't know, and from a commissioner standpoint, young lady, you have to recognize, I'm new to this. And so I try to get down to the bottom understanding. I understand his side and I understand her side. As a commissioner, I sit on this, but I represent you guys and
yeah, so
the
first of
school
all,
district.
it's not my side, it's the panel, the reclassification panel is made
Yeah.
up of 2 district employees and 2 CSEA employees. And the panel makes a decision based on the information that's presented, right? And there was discussions that were had with the supervisors. When you do a reclassification, it has to be, the workload should not influence
Correct,
the reclassification.
correct.
And then the SAGE program just came into effect this summer. So it's not a 2-year accretion of work, if that created more changing work. So that, the whole SAGE program is brand new. It hasn't been in effect 2 years.
It hasn't been in
It's-
effect 2 years, but they've been working on it.
Thank you, Patty. Let me answer,
Okay.
Ben, thank you. So to me and to the panel, the decision that was made based on that was that the work might be a little bit different, but it fell under the job description. And that's all I have to say about that.
Since we jumped into this one, the young lady spoke to, I know when Miss Dool does these things, she goes and sits and talks and watches and stuff like this. During her statement, she said that the review panel didn't come and,
It's not a requirement to do that.
okay,
It's not a requirement, it is an option. But based on the information that we had in front of us, the conversation we had with the supervisor at that time, the panel decided whatever that vote was, 3-1 or 2-2, or if we could come to a decision, was to not reclassify
Okay.
this position, this job description during that specific time.
the reason why I'm asking all these questions, and it should have probably been in the discussion portion, is my understanding through the contract that there's reevaluation, and excuse me, I never get the words right, or reclassification study of the whole entire district. I remember going through the process when I was in my other side and stuff, and if my understanding is correct, you do it once a decade by way of contract. It's looking like it's a new decade because it's 2024. My understanding of the process and remembering of the process, it's about an 18-month from start to signed off by the board as to doing things. So through this process, I asked Ms. Dool from her basic knowledge, if you start getting people asking for something, because this is quite the package, is it worth going and saying, okay, this is fine and technology changes and everybody gets more work because they have to learn something new, and is it time or is it knowledge, and are the two separated? I think it would be appropriate for you, Ms. Dool, to talk to your counterpart, Mr. Gutierrez, and see about instituting that reclass, or classification study, class study, my apologies.
We've already been
Because
between
things are going to change, and this makes the most sense, because by the time you work it out and do everything, it's gonna be halfway through the decade anyway, and it might clear up some of the Mrs. Lynn's and some of the Mrs. Gutierrez's and everything. Now, the last time we did it, not everybody was happy. But yet at the same time, hey, if technology is changing in the state of California, sorry, I get on soapboxes, state of California pushes down our throats, meaning school district's throat, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that. Well, you have somebody that's been doing the job for 10 years and say, hey, sorry, not my monkey, not my circus, go talk to the college, the Board of Education. They're the ones mandating it, now you've gotta learn how to do something new, because I gotta do it. So,
But SAFE isn't the only thing that's been added to me
No.
over the years.
110% understood.
The other reporting that I do actually do for Mr. Gutierrez is for the AMA, where it's every special ed student by teacher ability, who they by classification, work with the certificated staff, with Dana, that it also does the two, if have more disability, and also services outside of the school, and
100
provides service.
110% understood. I don't get into that of it, and I think that I personally believe it's the combination of both. You are doing more work in your 40-hour work week because something was mandated, but you're also doing something a little bit different than years ago by implementation of new rules and regulations. With that, anything else for the commissioners? Would you like to add any?
No, I mean,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. 3-1. Silence deems approved. All right, excuse me?
4 of you.
Three.
Or you said 3-1, it sounds.
2-1. My bad, sorry. Old school. Approve the attendance and costs associated with Commissioner Pringle's replacement. Mr.
yes, we know Mr. Brenda will not be able to attend in March, so we're fitting Miss Monique Hodge, executive assistant from Personnel Services, to attend. A new Assistant Superintendent Gutierrez to attend, but he did attend years ago when it was in Monterey. We're sending Miss Monique instead.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have anything closed session, adjournment 4:53.